Yo, what's going on YouTube? Um, Shouts out to, Nick Blackwell. He's healthy now. Seems to have, some of his bearings back and stuff like that. It seems like he's blaming, going at the Eubanks for speaking out publicly about the fight. From my understanding, is that he thought it was like kind of disgusting that he thought it was disgusting that his family told the Eubanks not to say anything or whatnot, and pretty much the gist of it is that he didn't want he thought they were exploiting his his injury, you know what I'm saying, his demise, I guess, whatever, while he was in a coma or whatnot. But at the end of the day, Chris Eubank, Senior. To me, I saw the interview and stuff like that. I saw the press conference. I'm not sure I saw all in its entirety, but for one thing, I do know many a times that I heard Chris Eubanks, talking about the Nick Blackwell being in a coma and stuff like that. He wasn't taking any credit, Now, as far as like him getting credit for like trying to save, Nick Blackwell from further, injury by telling his son to go to the body. We could say that I don't remember which newspaper mentioned it, but it was mentioned, in the papers and whatnot, online. I'm reading an article. I read an article about it, and it doesn't seem like he approached, a writer or something like that, or he was approaching writers. It didn't seem like he was saying, I saved Nick Blackwell. He wasn't saying that. He was like, no, I don't take credit for that. I'm not taking credit for that, anything like that. He pretty much denounced any credit for it. He didn't want to get credit for that. You know what I'm saying? That's not what he wanted. So I don't know why, his family like going in on him. But I guess he's still maybe traumatized, man. He's still maybe traumatized. I feel for him. Just speaking from, personal experience and stuff like that, and just, being out, on the streets, man. I just saw a dude, like, I guess he got jumped or whatever like that, he's like screaming out for help. And you know how it goes, man, when this it's like when people get like personal injuries and stuff like that, or they wind up in an accident or something. They quick to blame somebody, you know what I'm saying? It's quick to blame somebody. And yeah, it's all right to blame somebody when you definitely know 100% you're not at fault. But at the same time, you gotta analyze some things. You gotta analyze some things and think about it. Is there anything I could have done to prevent this from happening? You know what I'm saying? Now, with boxers, people who fight or people who choose to fight, or people who choose to contest something, that's another journey in itself. You know what I'm saying? It's a battle. You pick and choose your battles every day. Out there on the streets, man. Driving, whether you're gonna let some guy cutting you off is gonna upset you, or something like that. And yeah, man. Hopefully, he realizes at the end of the day that he still has his health. So hopefully he can get over it. And find some kind of peace. I know he wants to point the blame at somebody. Dude's like 25 years old. You know what I'm saying? He's 25 years old, and his boxing career is over with. This is probably the only thing he knows and stuff like that. I'm not sure if he's a traveler or nothing like that over there in the UK. With Billy Joe Saunders and Tyson Fury. I'm not sure he's part of the traveling community or whatnot, but yeah. So I don't know if he has any formal education or anything to lean back on. But one thing he can like lean back on is that he's alive and he has his family. He's 25 years old. And he can start over, like what I'm saying. He can start another career. I mean, boxing wasn't gonna last forever, and he should be happy that he was able to walk away. Both of them, Eubanks Jr. and Nick Blackwell. But as far as Eubanks Jr., he tried to give his condolence the best he could. I don't think he has as much tact, and he definitely doesn't have as much wisdom as his father. But his father was very tactful and stuff like that. Very wise and selective in his words. From every word I heard coming out of his mouth, talking about Nick Blackwell's situation with him being put in a coma and everything like that. But yeah, man, I was gonna go in like hard on Nick Blackwell and stuff like that, but I ain't gonna do that, man. The dude's like he's going through some things right now, man. He's probably still going through recovery, and he has to get over. It's gonna be a long journey for him. I don't know how long it's gonna take. Some people don't recover from that stuff, man. This affects the whole family and stuff like that. A good one will be man, what was that case with the plaster of Paris with Panama Lewis Rusco? It was the Louis Resco fight or something like that. I forgot his opponent's name, man. But yeah, it was involving Panama Lewis and excuse me, man, his fighter, loading up gloves. I forgot the dude he was fighting. But yeah, man, it was a guy pretty much a top contender like Nick Blackwell. I don't think he had a belt at the time. Like I don't think he was like a titleist or anything like that. But anyway, let me double check on that where Nick Blackwell was at, because I could have sworn he had a belt or something like that. Yeah, I think Nick Blackwell had the maybe like one of the British belts or something like that. But you know what I'm saying? Nick Blackwell's a contender, a rising contender. A titleist, you know what I'm saying? And this guy too, in a Louis Resco fight or something like that, or Panama Lewis, and anyway, what that situation ended up like. The fighter, he ended up having a lot of brain damage and stuff like that. It messed up his neurological, his whole neurological system and stuff like that. He just wasn't right. He wasn't right in his head. He had post-traumatic stress and stuff. I guess he started drinking, and he ended up in a car crash not too long after that, due to drinking and whatnot. And the father, the father, I forgot what kind of documentary I saw him in, but they were just trying to the documentary was about visiting fighters who suffered traumatic brain injuries, in fights and stuff like that, and how the other fighters feel about it. I think it's Nigel Benn versus Watts or something like that, or whatever that guy's name is. Anyway, like the G-Man Joe McCullough. Am I saying his name right? Anyway, they visit this dude. You know what I'm saying? They visit the father in that Louis Resco fight. The kid, the guy that ended up dying or whatever like that. Because of the pretty much traumatic brain injury and stuff like that with alcohol abuse and everything. But that father didn't even want to do an interview, man. Like, he was messed up. You know what I'm saying? Not to make light of it, but he was messed up. Like, he was still traumatized by the fact that his son got beat up in the ring and his son ended up dying. Like, he didn't want to talk to nobody. I think he's hiding out in his house. He probably doesn't even come out the house all that much, So he's done. But Nick Blackwell, he's out. He's doing interviews and stuff like that, talking about his situation. So hopefully he can talk about it and come to some kind of rationalization that it is what it is, and he has to press on. So hopefully he presses on. It's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough, man. Taking responsibilities for your own actions and looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I am where I am because of the choices that I made in my life, and yeah, I'm not happy right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not happy right now, and that's tough for anybody. You don't even have to be in boxing, man. You know what I'm saying? You probably had a beautiful marriage or something, and it fell apart for whatever reason, and you thinking like, man, my life could have been different if I hadn't married this chick or something, or maybe I made a wrong career move, and now I'm stuck here, and I could have been doing this. Yeah, sometimes you just can't look back, man. That's why people suggest, man, don't look back, just live life, and whatever happens, happens. Because you start looking back and stuff like that, and start analyzing, being all critical, you really being very judgmental of yourself, and that in itself can be, hell. You know what I'm saying? That itself can be hell. But it's good to be consciously aware of the decisions that you make, but at the same time, you gotta own it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta own it. You gotta walk it out. And hopefully Nick Blackwell, he stays strong, man, and realize like, hey, I'm walking, I'm talking, I got my faculties together. Hopefully I don't I don't have any neurological problems down the road. But right now, I'm good. I'm still young. I can do something with my life. And, because life's not over, man. The dude's 25, man. He can reinvent himself. So hopefully he does that. Hopefully he finds peace and with he and not say he has to be best friends with Chris, the Eubanks family or something like that, but hopefully he can find some kind of forgiveness in his heart, and not necessarily forgive the Eubanks, but just forgive himself, man. Just forgive himself. So yeah, man, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. I'll catch y'all later. All right, bye.